Hello and hello and welcome to EastEnders Weekly. Hello and welcome to EastEnders Weekly, your officially unofficial weekly podcast where we talk about everything EastEnders.
We certainly do.
I can't stop laughing.
I know, we were talking about the stories we're talking about, and we may just discuss what we had just discussed a bit later on, but it made Ben chuckle.
Yeah, well, I've got that thing where you can't not stop laughing. So we're discussing the episodes that were broadcast between the 27th and the 31st of May.
Hold on to your seats, kids. It's going to be a hard one.
Yeah.
So
a hard one.
Don't start that.
I know, I'm sorry. There's just so much going on this week.
Congratulations to the soap that won the British Soap Award last night, because when this comes out,
Emmerdale.
You reckon it's Emmerdale?
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about Emmerdale. I think, Emmerdale's a safe bet. But I think next year is an EastEnders year.
They deserve it. They've done really well. And speaking about how busy this week has been, it's got me really excited because you know the Beck storyline is kind of like a B-side storyline, not really a massissive storyline, is it really?
Well, I think it was meant to be like the big storyline, but it got overshadowed by a huge storyline.
Yes, casting a big shadow. But it just got me excited because there were so many like reveals this week of like Cush, like Martin finding about Cush and that relating to Cush and Kat, and then that relating to Arthur, and then like Rainey showing a picture of Stuart, and then that ricocheted into Callum and Stuart and Whitney, and it was like all this massive like after effects, and it's just for this little B-side storyline of Bex like running away. How exciting is it going to be when Shianu is revealed?
Well, yes, I know, when that gets dumped onto
I know, because it was so explosive. Like there was like when they were talking in Dot's kitchen, and there was like, you said this, and then that person said this, and what you said that, and it got me thinking, my God, just imagine about when it's going to be Shianu like is announced. And
well, that's it.
Thousands of storylines is gonna. So that got me really excited. Really good this week.
Really
how it's
good.
all like intertwined with each other.
There was someone commented on Twitter to say this is a soap that has found its feet again. This is the soap which I've said months ago, has confidence. They've got confidence in it again. They're
really doing those little things. Remember when we said how we wanted them to like two people talking, and then the camera like moves over, and then two people were continuing a separate thing. They did that a lot this week as well, like in the Vic, and when Martin stormed out of Dot's house after yelling at Cush, he walked past Karen and Mitch, and then Karen started talking about another storyline, and Sharon walked along, and it just went straight in.
Yeah.
So like, all those little things we wanted.
Yeah. Well,
they're happening.
Realistic, again, it's a community. There's a community. The square is a group of people that live together. It's not just separate entities.
And they're reacting to what other people are doing. So, yes, very good.
It's been it really has been such a great week. I think you're still laughing about that.
I'm sorry, I can't stop. We need to discuss it.
We will discuss it. Just to say one more thing, that this was the first week in probably, I don't know, I want to say in a long time, but in a way I feel like since we started the podcast, where when Friday's episode ended, I wanted it to be like a box set. I wanted Monday's episode to be there, ready to watch.
I wanted it right on top of you next.
I did. I wanted it laid on me.
Wait, it was quite the revelation at the end of the week. So we're going to go into the beginning of that storyline, where we're going to start off with Jay and Lola, because they did have a storyline.
That was gripping.
I've got like less than 10 words written about them. Basically, they're doing that thing again where Ruby is jealous of Jay and Lola, and she sees them like hugging but gets like kind of the wrong idea. It's
been building up to this for such a long time, because obviously when Lola was working for Ruby was deliberately being awkward to her all the time, making her do really silly errands.
I forgot if that even happened. Is she still working with her?
No, because she flooded the flat.
Oh yeah, of course.
So Ruby has held a grudge toward Lola since then, and before then as well, and wants the reassurance from Jay that she and him are a couple and they're a relationship and they're happy. And Jay basically says that she felt sorry for Lola and that's why he kissed her. But then
did he kiss her? He just hugged, didn't he? Like hug her, and that's what she.
No, Lola. He kissed Lola.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, in the club.
Just on the cheek. Oh wait, sorry, what are you talking about? When was this?
Jay and Lola, long
ages ago.
Yeah,
but they're still talking about that again.
Yes, that's what Ruby's upset about.
No, she was upset because she saw him hugging her in the market
later on. But that Jay said that the reason he kissed her was because he felt sorry for her. So it all stems down to So it all goes back to that night in the club.
Right.
But then yes, as you say, Jay then had talked to Lola because Lola was upset because Billy had a go at her. And so she was crying in the market, and Jay was a sympathetic shoulder, and they. Once he spoke to Ruby and they had it out, they hugged, but then there was that very rare double look over the shoulder shot.
Oh yeah, they were both like we agree we love each other. They both hugged each other and then looked like upset or like worried.
Well, Jay looked like to me that he had lied and that he didn't kiss Lola out of pity, and Ruby looked like she was not quite believing what Jay had said. So yeah, a very rare double shoulder, double betrayal shot. So that was probably the peak of their story.
But more importantly, we have Callum and Whitney moving into a flat.
Yes, which Jay gave them the keys to above the funeral parlour. They finally found an occupant for it.
All the storylines, the people living in this flat end up amazing, because Les's storyline was really shocking as well when he was dressed up. So...
Yes, amazing, but always cut short. Like they never seem to go anywhere with them. Hopefully this won't be the case.
I know. I'm so amazed that we predicted this slightly.
But we didn't slightly predict it. You 100% predicted this. I must say it was a bit like when you were shooting fish in a barrel a little bit, because you were presuming that a lot of people were going to turn gay. You thought Gray was going to turn gay.
No, I did go back on that in the end after I knew Gray a bit more. But no, yeah, we saw that look with Whitney and Ben and
again
Callum
a few months ago. Yeah, when Ben was reintroduced and he gave Callum a look, and as Ben said this week, he could smell out queer anywhere. So let's go from the beginning then. And Callum has obviously moved into the flat, and as a housewarming gift to Whitney, he's bought her a sewing machine.
Not the best.
Not really, but Whitney sees.
Although it kind of comes across that Mick and Linda kind of suggested it, and then Callum just went along with it, kind of.
Well, and also Whitney saw a silver lining, or Callum painted a silver lining for Whitney, because Callum remembered way back, about 2 years ago,
before he existed on the show,
before he shot Mick, that Whitney was going to leave the square to start a t-shirt business.
Yeah, she told that to Lauren, didn't she?
She did. She was off, but she didn't leave. Obviously, because she's still there.
Because she was looking at shops to buy.
She was.
Randomly.
She was going to just start, printing t-shirts. That was her plan. That was her life plan. And so with this sewing machine that Callum has thoughtfully bought her, he has now started the next step to her empire.
You know who she needs to talk to?
Well, of course.
Our businesswoman of the year, Kathy Knits.
1986 Kathy. With her sewing machine.
She'll have loads of tips.
She would. She really would. But Kathy's learning a whole new business now. She's taken a whole new direction. But Wit Knits was a good name, I thought, for her new business. Yeah,
but she's not doing knits, so that's not a really good name, is it? Wits.
House of Whitney.
Yeah, House of Whitney. Yeah, House of Whitney. Good.
Top Wit.
Dean of the shirts. That's rubbish. Whitney Dean.
Dean.
But she has no idea what she's doing. I mean, she's never designed clothes before. We've never she mentioned it once 3 years ago, and now it suddenly came up again.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like it was a passing thing that was meant to be a story for her to leave, and then she was like, "Oh no, I won't do that. I'll just carry on working in the pub."
But also, like, just one sewing machine's not really going to do much. What's she going to sew every single design on?
Well, according to Whitney, it's enough to start a small empire that she needs a van. She needs a vehicle. I mean, can you imagine, like, these two shirts, like, just laid on the van? Folded, yeah. Off she goes to the market to sell her 2 t-shirts that she made on her sewing machine.
Oh, I do feel for Whitney, because it's just doomed now. We just know it's all doomed, because he's moving on to someone else.
Which she is.
Poor Whitney. Does anyone think of Whitney in this? Everyone's here celebrating the pride. But no one's thinking about poor Whitney.
Well, no, that's true. Whitney has a very poor choice on when it comes to choosing her men. And unfortunately, she may have missed the mark again on this occasion. But not before she said to... not halfway anymore, it's Callum.
Oh, yes. New man.
Yes, not until...
I'm proud.
Not until she said to him that she's finally happy that she's found a man that she can trust.
Oh, yeah.
And she knows it isn't lying to her.
They felt the need to remind us of that line that was on the same episode, like in a voiceover thing as well, when he was crying.
Well, and the I smell queer.
So that wasn't really needed. Like, I think the audience could remember that just happened like 15 minutes ago.
I don't know. It's working on a
They should have played the
audience.
voiceover of him saying like he was a virgin like months ago or something.
Well, see, this
needed to be reminded.
This is where it all stems back to, because we need to remind ourselves that he was not very confident around Whitney or women. He wanted, when he first met Whitney, he just wanted to marry her. There was no, like, almost a bit old-fashioned, like, almost like you're hiding something. So you just want to get into a marriage so it can be covered up. He did want a child with Whitney. He seemed very keen to want to...
Well, that's the ideal standard, isn't it? Marry, get kids.
Yeah.
I guess. That's just He's thought
ticking
that was
all
the
normal
boxes. Plan.
Yeah, ticking all the boxes. And it kind of explains also why he may felt a bit out of the place not wanting to go back into the army. Because it was a bit too confusing a time for him the first time round.
Ben had some advice on that, how it gets confusing in the showers.
Yes.
And also you have to look at sort of his upbringing with how we don't know a lot about Stuart and Callum's parents, but we do know that the dad possibly beat Stuart. Well, we don't know if that's
Stuart
true.
used to defend Callum, so he
Yeah.
used to stand up for Callum. So Callum was always seen as the softer
Yeah.
child.
So it's obviously like a big masculine man dad who's
Mm.
obviously not been able to be himself around, I guess.
The dad is getting introduced as well, isn't he, for a
Yes.
brief time?
He's also called... Oh, no, he's not. The newspapers reported that he was going to be called Callum as well, but it was all wrong. But I don't think we know his name yet.
Oh. I mean, can you guess? Stuart Highway? Halfway?
Hugh
Highway. Hugh Highway.
Yeah.
That'd be a good name. Good name. I like it. As we said, Whitney wants a van.
Mm.
Callum is offered a van by Ben because Ben's desperate to palm off all his vehicles because they've all been stolen.
Mm.
And Phil warns him that if we don't want trouble round on our manor, because if you start introducing trouble on the manor, then they start linking things to Phil and they start arresting him because Phil's always got dodgy dealings one way or another.
Yeah.
So Ben's basically desperately trying to sell off things for cheap, but offering a van to Callum as if he's a mate, as if he's a friend.
And he also keeps doing like sly digs about him on the swings, like with the bottle as well, like if he wants to hurt himself.
Yeah.
Doing kids' playground and stuff.
Yeah, don't do it at the PG.
Catty remark.
But he also reassures Callum by saying, your secret is safe with me. So do you think when he's selling the van, when he's having this conversation with Callum, their first kind of full interaction, do you think Ben knew then? And so he deliberately wanted to push him until the secret came out?
Ben must have had like an idea. I don't know how or why. Like that thing of him smell queer.
I mean, yeah, we're going to get to this in a minute, but that scene was really intense. Like some people...
It came out of nowhere.
Well, so did Ben, apparently. I mean, it did sound like Ben had kind of, produced...
It looked like he'd had a good time.
He really did, on his own, without any help or interaction at all from anyone. I mean, when he met the hitman last week...
Well, he gets off on it, doesn't he?
He does. He seems to get off on this power trip that he has over people, like this violence that people put toward him. Whenever anyone's violent or a bit, snide toward him, he starts the kind of, doesn't he?
Does his eyes go in the back of his head?
He does. He rolls his eyes.
I mean, Callum is in a new suit, so
I mean, the suit suited Callum as well. That was a hot suit for Cal.
And his hair's all done.
The good hairstyle.
Yeah, it's good.
Where's his hat though?
He's missing. Last scene in the minute mark.
I mean, I'm hoping we're going to get another message from him. It won't be this week, unfortunately, but maybe next week we might hear from Halfway's Hat for another...
Halfway's Hat is recovering from the news.
Oh, God, yeah.
He's going to be very shocked.
I don't think Halfway's Hat is homophobic, do you?
No, but it is his father, so he might be shocked.
Callum Sheaf.
But yeah, Ben has like this weird power thing, and I find it funny how Ben was almost mocking him, like pushing him out of the closet when we know how Ben struggled.
Yeah, really struggled. Because he returned on many occasions knowing that he was gay, but then kind of hid it every time he came back.
Yeah, now he's kind of mocking Callum.
Yeah, for the similar situation. Doesn't seem very fair. But yes.
Yeah, I also like how we have the origin story of his nickname now. That's good. Nice spin-off.
Yes, but it's not the official origin story. No, I don't think... Well, unless everyone knew he was gay and he was hiding it. Because, yes, Ben says that his name's Halfway because he's not one way or the other.
He's got a girlfriend.
He's halfway there. Like he's halfway there, but he's living on a prayer.
Yeah. I'm hoping that's the whole point of bringing Lola back, was only so Ben can make that one offhand comment saying, I've got a daughter.
And now Lola can leave.
Yeah. But, I mean, yes, sexual tension, firing in Lou Bill's bedroom.
Firing in all directions.
What would Lou Bill say? It's all going off in her bedroom.
I know, in her doorway. So Callum gets stopped by the police, find out it's a stolen vehicle, goes to Ben, wants the money back. Ben says, you're not getting it, I'm afraid.
That's a bit mean.
Yeah, and he does it in a really narky way. He's like, oh, no, I'm not having it. So then Callum slams him along the door, against the door. Sexual tension on 11.
Take me through it. Step by step. What happens next?
Callum's tie fell off. One thing led to another.
His top button was undone.
Or was it? Well, he wasn't being very formal then.
No.
He was really angry. And yeah, and so Ben says...
He slapped Ben. Well, punched him, but I would have preferred him to slap him.
yeah, proper bitch slap. And yeah, Ben again licks the blood from his lip and says, I smell queer. And Callum quickly very defensive and then goes running off crying.
It was very good. We've never seen Tony Clay have this sort of powerful scene before. I was really quite impressed with him actually when he was going through the market and he thought everyone was looking at him and like things were surrounding him, like because like girls were outside and they were laughing. And
Yeah, so we could still
sort
hear
of-
Ben laughing in his in his mind, because Ben laughed at him as he was running away, and as you said,
he
there was
heard
girls
Whitney's
in the street.
demands in his head.
Obviously.
I need this,
Yeah.
this, and this.
I've never had a bed of my own. Go to IKEA, Whitney. And so very upset. But yeah, as you say, wonderfully portrayed by Tony Clay, and I think really well acted, duo piece.
And also the actual duff, like the angle where they were looking at him. Do you not think that was such like classic EastEnders camera angle?
totally.
It was like something like from like the classic EastEnders we've been watching when people run out of a room and they have that weird like off angle. And I was like, oh, that put a filter over that. It could be from the 80s.
Yeah.
But very impressed, shocked about the outcome.
Well, yeah. I mean, as we said, and
It just came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. As
Like
did Ben. I mean, but it did. Like we expected it, but when it happened,
It came
we
out of
didn't
nowhere.
expect
Felt
it.
nice.
It
But
was a
unexpected.
relief. We cleaned ourselves up and cooked our tea for the evening.
Yeah, shook. Lots of people were shook online.
Really?
No one knew it was
were.
happening.
No.
No one knew it was coming. But it pleased them.
It-
How many of these can we get in one episode?
I think we should. I think we should stop for now and perhaps move on to our award ceremony.
Oh God, yeah, it's got so much going on.
I know, very busy week.
Yes.
Not only did the Soap Awards happen last night, but today we get the results of the EastEnders Weekly
EastEnders Weekly
Podcast
Podcast Awards. So enjoy, and I hope you agree with all the results. Hello and welcome to the first annual EastEnders Weekly Podcast Award.
And who's on the red carpet? Why, it's only Maisie Smith. Maisie, come over here, Maisie. Maisie. Oh, she's ignoring me.
Letitia Dean's here.
She didn't even blink at us. She just walked past us.
Short skirt,
She
high
was-
heels.
Yeah, what legs though? Those legs.
I know. That's award winning in the future. So we have the results from everyone because this was a public vote for all of our listeners who've been voting.
You did, and again, we just want to shout out thank you so much for voting. We were overwhelmed by the number of votes that people cast, and we really did think it would be like a few 30, 40 people, but we're excited about the idea, and we've had loads more than that.
Yeah, it's good.
It's been
So
really
it's a good percentage.
good turnout. So thank you so much for voting and joining in with the fun.
So shall we begin? Because we're breaking this up into two parts because there's
yes.
so many nominations.
So the first award is Best Bitch. And I had to say that because as everyone who listened to it when we announced the awards, bitch is my favourite word of the week.
Next year it's Best Cow. But yes, so we had the nominations, and the shortlist of the three that were chosen by you were Rainy Cross, Ben Mitchell, and Stuart Highway.
Ooh, okay, and the winner is Stuart Highway.
Ooh.
Because we did explain that this is also villain or dark character and mean,
Yes.
someone who's not very nice on the square. So what gained his Best Bitch notoriety, do you think?
He had a whole year of it, didn't he? He was
He did.
terrorising the Carters, terrorising Tina, killed Dylan Box allegedly.
Yeah,
People thought he might even kill Dot at one point.
yeah,
so
for her inheritance money.
he was quite big. I mean, Ben Mitchell's on there. I suppose, given him a few more months, maybe next year he could be Best Bitch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, his bitchiness kind of slowed down a little bit. Ben's bitchiness then ramped up, and so if you were to look at it that way, because Stuart, in the end of like this year that we've bracketed, yeah, he's not really done
bit
much
softy,
at all. Yeah,
Bit doughy.
best softer character. But so he definitely deserves it for his very strong come to the ground running start of his
Definitely,
villainy.
because that Best Bitch of his ended up giving him an extended contract, so must have been doing something right.
And we're waiting to see if his nastiness will creep back out, come through his veins, because once it's set, it will never leave him.
I'm sure it will in the future.
Fingers crossed. So he might win it 2 years in a row next year.
Right, so the next award was Best Newbie.
Oh, yes, I liked this award as well, because we had so many new characters coming in this past year.
Not a lot have done much, but they were there.
No,
for
but
the
they've
party.
come. They've been there. And the top three that you guys had voted for, Habiba Ahmed, Bailey Baker, and Ben Mitchell. So a second nomination for Ben Mitchell, another top three.
The winner is Bailey Baker.
Ooh, and by a big margin
Yes.
too.
We're not revealing the percentages, but yeah, landslide.
Let's just say this was the most convincing victory of all the categories we had. Again, really likeable character, and you can kind of understand why a lot of viewers have attached themselves to her and her story.
She's very good. She's a child actor who's actually a good actor. So that's a plus point, which is quite rare on EastEnders sometimes. There's a bit hit and miss.
I mean, we joke about the child actors on there, but they've all kind of ramped up a bit. But, you know, Bailey as a character has been really intriguing and interesting. And when she was first introduced, you didn't really know why she was there. But then when you learned about her mother, Dinah...
and the young carer storyline. It's something they've not done on EastEnders, so... It was nice to see.
So she was introduced with a bit more of an interesting story rather than just a limp. And then also a very similar story like Ben Mitchell, although Ben Mitchell did get to the top 3 again. So
I know.
Very
cooling his way up.
So as one in, one out philosophy, as we always go on about, we have to do next the best exit, or as we affectionately called it, the Julia Smith Award, because of Julia's legacy.
Oh yes, Julia's theme. So the 3 that were shortlisted by you were Shaquille Kazemi, Ray Kelly, and Dr. Harold Legg.
Good, strong contenders.
Yes.
Surprised not to see Alfie Moon there, I must say. But
or Hayley.
That was quite surprising. Let's see what you guys thought. So the winner of the Best Exit Julia Smith Award was... Shaquille Kazemi. So that's nice. That's good, because it was a really big story, wasn't it?
I was holding out hope for Dr. Legg, seeing as he was an original.
It was incredibly close, and I don't think we're spoiling anything by saying that it was pretty much them two the whole time, and one kept getting ahead of the other. So it was always between Dr. Legg and Shaquille.
But no, it's not. I mean, it was the biggest storyline of last year, wasn't it? The Shaquille storyline. So.
It was publicised very heavily, and it was heavily researched and done well. I mean, some people saw it as a bit of a tragedy porn for the soap, but I think it was done really well, and it's really put EastEnders back on the map, and I think it's helped them along, or we would have known by the time this is released, but as we're recording this, it's probably helped them with their British Soap Awards as well. Yeah,
well, they've got nominations, which is the difference.
Well, yes, exactly.
To last year.
Last year they weren't getting nominations at all. It was a very dark story. It was a very impactful, powerful story. They did a one-off kind of episode where they had people to his funeral, but we'll talk about that
later, I think.
A bit more. Yes, but and it was performed incredibly well by Shaheen as well, and I think he pulled it off perfectly. Him and Zach Morris, I think they both. It was
and Bonnie Langford.
And Bonnie Langford.
The aftermath was just as harrowing as the actual event.
Yeah,
but,
I must say I was surprised not to see Bonnie or Kamal in the top 3, because obviously these are categories where it's the character rather than the actor. I was very surprised not to see Kamal in the top 3 on this one.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, Bonnie was campaigning to vote, but
she retweeted.
Come on,
you horrible lot. She wanted this award. She wanted the EastEnders Weekly Podcast annual award. Who wouldn't know, eh?
And she's gonna have to come back, isn't she?
Yep, she has to come back and try to
come back.
Yeah, yes.
So our next award is Hero of the Year.
There's been a lot of heroes on the square this year because there's been so much tragedy. And the nominations, or the top 3 that you had voted, were Bailey Baker, so a second nomination for her, Keanu Taylor, and Jean Slater.
Ooh, right old mix there.
Yeah, all kind of like the head of their story.
And the winner is Jean Slater. She's our hero.
Oh, she's my hero as well. Absolutely. I'm so pleased that she won this. Especially she, even last month when she had that storyline with Sean and the cancer story, when she really was heroic of her.
And all last year with Hayley and the Slater, she was like the head of the family. She was the hero of the year, wasn't she?
She was. She is the head. To me, she's the head of the Slaters. I really do. I think she keeps them all in line, even when they think that she's the weaker one. She doesn't. She's not the weaker one. She's the strong. She's always consistently the stronger one now, and they won't allow her to be it, which makes her even more of a hero because she doesn't boast. She doesn't demand it. Exactly. She doesn't boast that she's like the top dog of the Slaters. She just quietly lets it play out along her, and she just quietly puts the pieces in place.
I mean, a fun fact on this award: at one point, Jack Branning was winning.
That is true. He didn't even make it to the top 3 in the end. But yeah, Jack Branning. I mean, again, these came out around about the time of the Tiff story, so I suppose it might have been quite fresh in their minds.
Yeah, he was ending all storylines, wasn't he, in heroic fashion?
But... He is. He's just the storyline killer, isn't he?
But the award went to Jean, so...
Deservedly so.
Yes, very much. I'm very glad by those results. So that was the first half of the results, and we'll be back later to carry on with the second half, such as Miss Wolford.
And Mr. Wolford. So stay listening for that.
Yes. Well, looking forward to part 2 coming up in a minute. But first, we've got a multi-layered storyline. And by multi-layered, I mean Bex, Cush, Kat, Sonia, Martin, Ted, Rainey, Stuart, Callum, Max, Jack. Am I missing anyone? Louise, she was there around.
Whitney
was
there.
It was all going on. All these characters involved in one storyline, and that is all about our Bex.
I know, the whole world. She's the nucleus of this week's EastEnders.
Well, everyone seems to be related to her in some way. Like, even Jack and Max are related. I can't remember how or think why, but they are. They're concerned.
Aren't they? Let's work this out. Sonia's granddad
Sonia's
is their dad.
Uncles, yeah.
So it's her
like
uncle.
Uncles,
so it's her great uncle, Beck's great uncle.
Maybe cousin.
It might be cousin.
Aunt Max.
Auntie Max.
I mean, one thing I took away. One, Ted is getting involved in gossip.
Good old Ted.
Yeah, he's listening to everyone.
He was exhausted at the amount of work he had to do this week. I loved it when he ran into the pub.
Two outside scenes, an inside scene.
He was like, and he was like, "What's wrong, Ted?" And he was like, "I had to work. I had to do some work. I had to act." It's nice to see Ted.
It was, bless him.
Yeah.
He's a little gossip, isn't he? He's the new Dot.
He's kind of hiding behind bushes and seeing things happen.
And also, sort of Stuart's redemption arc, is this now complete? Are we now meant to... That's it?
Yeah.
Everything's forgotten because he's been allowed into the Vic.
He's been allowed into the Vic. Mick hasn't forgiven him, but he's allowed him to have a drink. This isn't the first time Mick's kind of let him to have a drink.
Oh, yeah.
But this is the first time he's not poured a drink onto Stuart and allowed him to do it. The only ones who still don't trust Stuart is Tina and Shirley.
Yeah, and Shirley said she'll always spit on him.
She did.
Even Tina kind of said, "I'm going to give up," kind of,
well,
and
because
move on.
Kathy said, you've got to look into the future, you've got to look forward.
Okay.
And later on, Tina has some big news to look forward to. So keep listening to find out.
We had some amazing scenes this week with Bex and Cush, because she has gone like quite delusional. How she thinks that she just lets herself into Cush's flat.
Yeah.
Because Cush is there. He's having a shower, so she assumes he wants me to have a shower with him. It's very assumptuous of her.
Well, and also she had ADHD pills and alcohol, so her mind's probably kind of flying around everywhere. She did start her dirty flirting with a YouTube video this week.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've realised that Cush now has an online presence.
Know. Online personal trainer, like the body coach.
For free as well. Do you reckon he gets any ad revenue for his videos?
Oh, yeah, I've watched him 100 times already.
I know you have.
I'm subscribed. I liked all his videos. I wonder what type of content he makes. Does he do cooking? No, he's not very good at cooking.
He's not doing cooking, no.
No, just fitness.
No, he is fine at cooking as long as Kat's not about, turning up the temperature to 300 degrees.
And also, how quick he has a shower.
Yeah, it's barely washed.
No wonder Bex got the wrong idea.
I know. But Bex was naked, Cush was naked.
It was a good time all round.
Both were surprised. Bex was almost instant regret. Like, she realised what she had done wrong.
But it was worth it.
It was worth it just to see little Cush. And then who should come in? Kat, to kind of mix up the pot. But Kat's really quite understanding. Almost like she's been in a situation similar.
Oh, she's been in every situation under the milk cart, hasn't she?
Thing is, Beck's mum's been in a very similar situation with Phil Mitchell.
She has. Sonia, yes. She assumed that Phil wanted a bit of Sonia.
Rough.
She was in the bed naked waiting for him when he got home once. So yeah, not too dissimilar, these two girls.
It's like mother like daughter. Very, very
Although
similar.
Cush and Phil, can't really compare.
Oh, Phil had his day. Have you ever seen that video when he's stripping with...
Kung Fu fighting.
Yeah. He looked all right there. Very pert bottom.
Didn't see Cush's bottom.
No.
We were robbed.
We were robbed a bottom.
No wonder there's no awards being won. So that was extremely awkward. She then thinks that's it, actually, I need to get out of here. So she runs away with her backpack. Did she take her studying books with her to get some studying done?
Don't think she had time for studying. Or at least she didn't have anywhere quiet to study.
My friend told me once when she ran away. She was young and stupid. She said, for some reason, I took ketchup with me.
Oh.
Because when she was young, she thought that's what she would need.
Isn't there a film like in the late 90s when like there were lots of teen movies that came out, and there was about a girl who lived in Grand Central Station in America, and all she ate was tomato ketchup sachets. Yeah,
that must be a thing.
So maybe she was trying to be cool.
I wonder what Bex had.
Mustard,
Pills
and mustard,
wine,
vodka.
Oh, yeah,
She had vodka because she had that altercation with Stuart in the square, which is what Ted saw.
Yeah, so vodka, pills, and revision book 3.
Yeah. Advanced. What's she studying? Law.
No, I
isn't
don't know. She's studying everything, isn't she?
Oh, I forget.
She's becoming a maester in Westeros. She's studying it all.
She is.
God knows, she's highlighting like literally everything.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of my own notes because everything seems to be important, so everything gets highlighted. So I get Beck's feelings. I get the way Beck sees things.
And so she ran away to London. We saw bits of her like running around. She was almost got approached by some grotty man.
She was propositioned by some guy who was like...
She got out of there.
Well, she ran to a door and then hid behind it.
She runs like Phoebe from Friends.
Yeah.
And then when, like, later in the week, she was like kind of being followed by someone in a hoodie, but we're not sure if it was her imagination or not.
It might have been her, crazy mind just for that moment because she was so panicked about being out on the street. To be fair, we say she ran away. She was gone for a day. I mean... Obviously, it could have been longer, and we don't really know how Stuart knew where she would be.
Doc goes missing for like 8 months. No one cares.
Yeah, she goes to Ireland, not explained. She comes back. Oh, there was nothing for me to do there, so I thought I'd come back.
Bex goes off for one night.
Panic
all over the square. Martin is being... You know who Martin was reminding me of, and it's not a pleasant sight? Pete Bill.
Yeah.
His uncle, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's so Pete Bill.
He really is Pete Bill. I mean, Ian is Pauline. He is. So they kind of taken their...
Ian is Michelle because he's not there.
Yes, also true.
Kathy? Who's Kathy then?
Kathy is our own woman.
She is, matriarch.
Absolutely, 100%.
But yeah, he's reminded of Pete Bill because he's just flying off the handle. Everything is someone else's fault and not his.
Yeah.
With this Beck situation. Because we said earlier in the podcast, like, all these things got revealed because they've been building up the secret that Cush wants, like to see Arthur more.
He wants more visitation rights. He kind of wants joint custody.
Yeah, and we've got the fact that he told Martin about Bex fancying him, but then didn't tell him that she kissed him. But then Kat told them by accident.
Kat leaked it by accident. Yes.
So there's all these things that like kept piling up.
And also, Cush said that she was selling the ADHD tablets.
Oh yeah, because he knew about the pills.
Yeah,
but didn't tell them.
But he didn't know. He didn't know that she was taking them.
No.
In his defence. So
when Bex, it's like a double secret.
But Bex also said that she didn't feel like she was led on by Cush. So this is all in Martin's mind, like you say. This is all what Martin wants to put together. Yeah. He kind of hasn't really forgiven. Even though they had that big fight in the square 3 years ago after he slept with Stacey and it all came out, and he was like,
he brought that up, didn't he? A little dig.
That's what I mean. He's never really forgiven him for it.
That's what you do, Cush.
Yeah.
Sleep with the Slaters.
That seems to be his role. Slaters and, bears children with them. I mean, Kat can't have another. Do you reckon Kat's pregnant?
No.
Everyone's getting pregnant on the square as well, I know.
I'm worried that Whitney's going to be pregnant now because they're trying for a baby, apparently.
Well, they were trying for a baby back when it was...
Mel's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a long time
ago.
Another
baby.
It's been half a year, maybe.
Yeah,
but sorry to go back to the Callum story, but
please do.
Okay, but Whitney tried to persuade Callum on his birthday to try for a child.
Lingerie. She was wearing lingerie. She opened her lingerie, wearing the same lingerie underneath,
the same dressing gown underneath, and
no wonder he wasn't interested.
Well, he wasn't interested, was he? He
No.
wanted to play his Xbox. He was like, "Yeah, come on, go here. Yeah. Can you see me? Yeah, shoot him. He just didn't care.
No,
so again, signs were there. Were there.
We also had the secrets about Stuart coming out because Rainey took that random photo of him hugging Bex last week, which that came out because of Ted and Rainey and Tina all like mixing.
It was all stirring. Bowl. Everyone was giving misinformation from one another. As we said, Ted saw Stuart and Bex have a fight, and Bex scratched Stuart's neck. So he thought that was a bit suspicious. Tina and Rainey shared the photograph, but Rainey instantly regretted when Tina brought it up because she's been seeing a much softer, kinder side of Stuart. And actually, she was the one who found Bex with Stuart later on and defended him.
So yeah, they're friends. I guess. Stuart and Rainey.
It's a strange relationship, but it's a relationship I've wanted between Rainey and Stuart.
Speaking of Rainey, we can't forget Max, what he's been up to this week.
Max has
his one-liners of unhelpfulness.
Well, yeah, he basically wanted to start a vigilante group against Stuart and then Cush. He just wanted to fight with someone.
Who do you think he is? Tony Carpenter?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, Max seems to have a very forgetful memory of that he slept with someone not too dissimilar of Beck's age twice, Stacey and Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy was 20, 21, I think. So not too dissimilar to Bex, really.
But no,
and he's a grotty old man. He's not young.
No, of course, no, he isn't.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that he was like, he just so desperate to like beat someone up, to have a fight with someone. It comes to something where Jack is his common sense. Where Jack's
all right, actually. He's on the good list.
I'm liking it.
He's keeping calm in the background. His little jacket on. But Max...
He did give Callum a bit of a stare down when he was in the Vic, because Callum defended Stuart throughout this story.
I found that a bit of a turnaround. Like, Callum before wanted nothing to do with Stuart, and now all of a sudden he's sticking up for his brother.
He did soften last week, and it was bit by bit by bit. And by the end of the week, you could see Stuart was really happy as well.
Yeah, he talked to him.
He talked to him, and he found out from, I think it was from either Jack or Whitney, that he had defended him. Whitney says that Stuart still scares her, so that's interesting.
It's good, though, to be a little bit scared.
It is. But
hold a bit of power in Stuart.
I like that Stuart now is becoming part of the community, because we were a bit worried that he was a bit isolated, like everything that happened to him.
Ostracised.
Good word. He was always left out from things that were happening around him, but now, because he's allowed into that Vic again, and slowly, obviously, in time, he'll probably be a bit more frequent there, then, you know, he's now getting involved with more stories, rather than being
Martin
left out.
took him for a drink, so they're
Martin
friends.
did. Martin had his tankard,
yes.
just like his uncle.
He is Pete. That really upsets me, and I now don't fancy Martin as much.
My goodness. Revelation.
So that's that, Martin.
Yeah, take that. How dare you?
But Bex did come home eventually, because we said Stuart and Rainey found... I don't know how they found her. They just found her, like, all of a sudden.
Stuart said he knew where she'd be, but there was not much of an explanation for how.
No.
It was...
Or, like, she was just in a random place in London, like, underground.
She was under a bridge. There is a tweet, actually, which I'm going to read out right at the end of the show when we do the...
Someone said it looks like they were under King's Landing. That's what I saw.
It does.
Is that where they filmed? Who knows?
What, the old sets in Ireland, Northern Ireland.
But yeah, I don't know how he found her, but he just found her like straight. Like,
he did
quite quickly. So that was weird. But
she was having a panic attack as well, because this is when she was being followed. But Stuart calmed her down. Rainey was there with him. So as I said, Rainey and Stuart, this relationship that we've begged for them to have, it's just so natural for Rainey and Stuart, because they're both so similar. It just makes so much sense for them to either be so good for each other.
They're trying to be good, but they've got that like dodgy side to them.
They just can't. Every time they try to be good, something knocks them back down again. And I think that them two would make such a thrilling story. If
they have got a story coming up together.
They have.
Dark story. So that's exciting. The last sort of part of the storyline, once Bex was back, and Bex sort of told Martin and Sonia that they were basically being awful parents, weren't listening to her. Stuart and Kush were the only ones who were open to hearing what she was saying. Martin still blaming Kush.
Yeah.
And then this whole thing about the shared parent of Arthur came out, because he said he wanted to see Arthur, and then Martin said, I can stop you if I want.
Which he can't.
No, and it seems a bit out of nowhere, this like rivalry. But I guess they're doing what we thought of the Stacey maternity leave is somehow going to go into this.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I mean, it was very much like two, animals, bucking each other, wasn't it? Because at one point they came really close to each other, their foreheads were almost pressed against one another, so it's almost showing
they need to go in the shower.
They really do. They need to calm down. No relief, like or anything like that in the style of Ben and Callum.
No.
But they
the spark's not there,
really. But they're just friends, Ben. They're just man mates.
But they've broken up now.
I know.
Kush and Martin are no more.
Oh dear.
It was really extreme. Like Martin was like, "You'll never see Arthur again." I was like, all right.
Well, and then, but then Kush says to Martin that this is the first and last time you will stop me from seeing my child.
He's going to go to the courts.
Yeah. I mean, it was nicely...
And Cat on one side, Stacey on the other, so there's obviously going to be like a Cat and Stacey cat fight.
They're going to take their partner's side.
They're men.
They're men, yeah. I mean, it's been, actually, to be fair, it's been nicely set up. It's not like this has just come out of the blue.
No.
Last week, obviously, Kush had mentioned that he wanted more involvement. And so it's kind of rumbled into this story.
That's what's nice with all these storylines overlapping, because like the Cat and Kush thing isn't just like a pointless partnership. It links into Bex's fancy of Kush and Cat finding out, and it also now links into like Arthur, and so it is cleverly done how it's all each of these little storylines, like even Rainey and Stuart fighting like months ago when he was breaking into a house.
Yeah,
that's why she took a photo of him, and like that's now linked into this. So it is clever how it's all nothing was pointless or just forgotten.
No.
So it's good.
I completely agree, and it's been done so well. And again, something we've missed so much in EastEnders, that it's led to this big crescendo of a story this week, which has now splintered off more stories. which we've not had. Normally it says, here's the story, here's the middle, here's the end.
Alfie
next
gets
story.
pushed downstairs.
End.
Next week, no one remembers.
Yeah, or they just repeat the same, and they're not. There was, as you said, there was lots of little stories that led to this big story this week, and now they're splintering off again. It's really well done. Lovely.
Is. Very good. Well, that's all the drama of that I can take, but we've got part 2 of our EastEnders Weekly Podcast Awards coming up, so I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to the first annual EastEnders Weekly Podcast Awards, and we're backstage now with Cat Moon / Slater, but unfortunately she's had a bit too much to drink, so she's been taken away.
Oh dear.
She can't comment.
She cannot comment, and we've taken her through the back door, so to speak, because we don't want her to be papped by the press and news. And I also see that Mick is in the corner ranting about something. I'm not sure what, but I believe he's called someone...
Right, no, we've got to cut to the awards now.
I think so. I think it's best safe that we just carry on with the awards, and hopefully the situation might calm itself down.
That's right. So we're going to start off with the second part of the awards ceremony, and of course, just like last time, we have the shortlist of the top 3 voted by you guys. And the first one is Miss Wolford.
Ah, yes, the prestigious award, where they don't only win the award, but they win a crown and a sash.
Yep, and a float.
And a float. The top 3 were Louise Mitchell, Sharon Mitchell, and Chantal Atkins.
Ooh,
so a Mitchell double as well. I think there'll be a bit of tension in the household of Mitchell later tonight.
Yes, that's going to upset Phil or please Keanu, depending which way this all goes.
Well, I think Keanu will be pleased if either Mitchell wins. He's a winner in their eyes.
Right, so the winner was... Sharon Mitchell.
Of course it is.
Those legs.
It's their legs.
You can't beat them.
Absolutely. Her long, flowing blonde hair, her steely looks at people when they throw insults, her steely looks at people when they throw love.
Her eyelashes, her extensions, she's got it all going on.
Her mobile phone acting.
So yeah, well done, Sharon.
Absolutely.
She beat out Habiba, Ikra, Chantel, Kathy, Whitney, Big Mo.
I know, she beat
on
some
top.
big contenders. And rightly so. I mean, that's not a joke. She is absolutely beautiful. And she deserves...
But it's not just
win.
about looks, Miss Wolford.
No, it's not. She's also got the brains and the
Charisma,
business sense.
Uniqueness,
Yes.
nerve and talent.
She has all 4 of them. And so congratulations to her. I tell you what, though, you can't have a Miss Wolford without Mr. Wolford on their arms.
Oh, yes.
And Mr. Wolford has also got a short list of 3.
It has. Kush Kazemi, Keanu Taylor, or Mick Carter. He slipped in.
That's what he says to all the ladies. And the winner of Mr. Wolford was... It was only Keanu Taylor. Keanu even happened in Mr. and Mrs. Wolford. I know.
My goodness.
And I mean, I don't think... Was it planned, do you think? Was there a boycott on Twitter for people to vote for both Keanu?
They're just naturally the hottest.
Or are they just
most
naturally...
intelligent, charismatic couple ever.
Charismatic.
Whatever. I'm too hot to talk.
I know, so am I. I'm just thinking about them 2 on that float.
I mean, it's a tough category.
It really was. There's a lot of, good-looking men. And a year ago, you were saying how there were none on the square. So
I am sad Martin Fowler was at the top.
I mean, again, if the people were able to vote from this week when he was running down the stairs with just dressing gown open, then that
would have changed it all.
His little dad bod would have changed the whole situation. But yes, congratulations to Keanu for winning Mr. Wolford.
Yes, so they'll be on the float together later.
Yes. Now
where they belong.
They belong together. So these next 3 are voted on the actors now, rather than the characters, for best performance, best male performance, and best female performance.
Ooh.
And we start with best ensemble performance.
That's right. So the top 3 voted by everyone was the Mick, Stuart, Tina, and Linda storyline, To Catch a Predator, Shianu, involving Sharon and Keanu, and the knife crime storyline, which was Shaquille, Carmel, Kush, and Keegan.
Yeah, so 3 of the big storylines of the past year. Let's see who won. And the winner is... They've only got the triple. Shianu! Can you believe it?
Oh my god, they beat the knife crime.
It's all about the grapes, Ben.
I know.
It's all about the steamy relationship. I mean,
I have a feeling they're going to be taking trophies next year as well.
We loved the story ourselves. We talked about it a lot on the podcast.
It got us through the summer.
It really did. But it was a genuinely intriguing story, and we really caught onto it. The aftermath of it, the fallout, is still happening now. And I think it's surprised even the writers and the producers of the show how much the public have taken on board this Shianu story. Because even people who haven't particularly enjoyed it have kind of understood it in the whole method of the story.
Yeah, and even though they don't technically like it, loads of people online complaining about it, which in a way means you are liking it.
That's right. It means, and also draws an audience in.
So. I want to just say, it's a shame Dr. Leg and Dot's ensemble didn't get higher up though, because that was such a good episode. But voice of the people. It
was one episode really, wasn't it? Or just a couple of episodes, that story, while Shianu spanned a summer. A summer of love. The summer of 2018.
Yes. So next up we have the best male performance.
This was a really tightly contended category. Again, everyone was number one at one point. Everyone moved around everywhere. But the top three after the votes closed were Zach Morris, Robert Kaczynski, and Ricky Champ.
Three good boys. The one who came out on top was Robert Kaczynski, Sean Slater.
I have to say, I was super surprised by this.
Yeah, he snuck in there, didn't he?
He snuck in very much in the last minute, and wasn't as much of a story as we thought it was going to be when he was introduced.
It was like a self-contained indie film.
It really was.
In a way, during EastEnders. Because he sort of came in, did a week's work. He got in just on the cut-off point of our time limits as well, just. So he was included. But yeah, he's stealing the win.
And so, yeah, absolutely. Well done to him, though. Again, it was a good story, and it was attached to Gene. So if you think about it, it's kind of links together with Hero of the Year being Gene as well. So, yeah, very well deserved. The final category. I can't believe it's gone so quickly, Ben.
I know. All this hard work.
I feel like we should do a memoriam now. We should think about the stars.
Joyce.
The stars we've lost this past year on EastEnders. So now we've thought about Joyce and raised a glass and...
Lifted a cardigan.
Yeah, and listen to her favourite song in the Vic. It's time for the final category, which is the best female performance.
Cool. The top three voted for by you were Lorraine Stanley, who plays Karen, Gillian Wright, who plays Jean, and Maisie Smith, who plays Tiffany Butcher.
And the winner is... Gillian Wright. Jean.
So yes, he's taken a few trophies tonight, so well done.
Very much. In fact, if you think about it, the Slaters have pretty much taken the whole awards ceremony.
Slaters, Taylors, Mitchells.
Again, we don't really need to repeat ourselves. Gillian was involved in a lot of stories, rightly so as well. And we've been saying it, again, right at the beginning of our podcast, we used to say, oh, it's such a shame they're not using Jean more. It's such a shame they're not using Jean more. And they started using Jean again at the end of last year, and they've not really looked back, have they? They've just used her for the Cherry storyline with Hayley, her cancer storyline, and also there was touches of her mental state dissolving as well, and she just pulled them off perfectly.
She's got comedy, drama, all sorts.
She's a triple threat.
She can dance.
She can sing. She had the choir as well over Christmas.
Yeah, and she's going to have a love story soon. So, yeah, she's hitting all angles.
Well, she had a love story as well with Ian Beale. Very short-lived.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. But she's had it. So, deservedly, Gillian Wright gets the final award of the night.
Very good.
Which is the best female performance. So, there we go. Yeah. So that's all wrapped up. It's time to go to the after-show party. I think a few of the people need to maybe get their carriage home now. I mean, it's quite the mess in the green room right now.
Let's hope Hayley doesn't fall off the wagon tonight and she's all right. Take Cherry.
I really don't know. But thank you for listening to the EastEnders Weekly Podcast Awards. And again, thank you so much for voting. We couldn't have done it without you guys.
No, it was good. So let us know what you thought of the results, if you agree or disagree with any of them.
Yeah, if any of the actors are listening and they would like their award, we have made something.
Yeah, we can send it.
We can send it to you, and we'd more than happy will. So do get in touch with us, and we will send you out the award as well.
Well, there you go. So thank you for listening to the first annual EastEnders Weekly Podcast Award. Well, another year of awards is over. Another year, the first year of many to come.
So many to come.
I feel so empty now.
Don't feel empty. We've got a picnic coming up.
I know. You know that storyline with Bex had about 21 characters, and there's about 9 that haven't had a storyline in that storyline.
Yes.
Well, those 9 are in this storyline.
Shock surprise.
Yes, picnic, the slap, some might say.
Oh yeah, the slap. Oh God, remember that program?
Slash book. Here's a book first.
Oh, is it an adaptation of a book?
Yes, it reminded me of the slap. This kind of. It was kind of it. Something happened behind the parents' back, and no one knows who hit who.
Maybe we should call it the slapper.
Yes. Before that, we had like a storyline of the diner Dina. We've been commented at. I don't know how to pronounce her name.
It's Dina.
Dina.
Yes.
I'm gonna call her Dina then. No, I'm not.
Don't be spiteful.
Dina.
It's Dina.
We had like the revelations of that, where Mitch wants to tell Bailey how she died. Where I thought, like, do you really need to tell her like now? Can you wait like a few years?
Young to discuss suicide, especially your own mother.
But she doesn't need to know how she died, does she?
I don't know. I think it's Karen kind of putting her conscience to rest and just.
Yeah, Mitch is forcing the idea.
No, Karen's forcing it onto Mitch.
Oh,
Mitch doesn't want to say anything.
Good.
To Bailey. So
but he does in the end.
Mitch is being a bit level-headed. Although I know last week we said like Mitch has no right to really be such a moody moo, but he's being like this week he was really brooding, kind of like scowling all the time at Karen. It's like, oh come on, Mitch.
But yeah, he does eventually tell Bailey what happened, and she cries, dubbed crying, I must add. So that upset me.
Oh dear.
Took away from the emotion for me.
We do like our EastEnders dubs. But, you know, Bailey said she blames herself still, but she shouldn't. And she says, I don't really care the way my mum had died. I just want her back. And there's a very, very nice
So they didn't really need to tell her, did they, really?
Yeah.
I didn't add anything.
It's for the inquest as well, isn't it? So it's kind of hinting that maybe Bailey's going to say it by accident when they're being interviewed by the police or something like that. So I think it's leading to what we found out at the end of the week, which is that Gray is going to be looking after the Taylor family.
But can he be trusted?
Well, exactly.
His top button's undone now. Yeah,
and he didn't like Karen, and he did make a comment saying, "Oh, you thought we looked down our noses at you, but do you see now that we're both on a level playing field? We're both the same." So he's got the trust of Karen now. So again, it's weird, isn't it? We can't quite put our finger on what the story is with Chantal and Gray.
No, I do like Gray though.
Yeah.
Like when he was having a go at Phil, I was like, yeah,
threatening legal action.
I like that.
Yeah.
He stood up to him. Because we had the picnic coming up after this, which involved Linda and her kids. She was looking after Dennis for Sharon because Sharon was occupied.
She was buying some knee-high red boots. She was
shopping trip.
She was shopping trip.
We had all the Taylor kids there and Bailey, and like Mick was there. Was Jack and Denise there? I think they were there, like just at the picnic. I'm guessing because of Amy, maybe. I
don't remember, to be perfectly honest with you. But basically, they were having a day out.
A lot of couples.
Yeah, they're having a day out to help Bailey kind of forget her troubles and her woes, and just kind of, you know, on a grey, dreary English day, they were in the park having a picnic.
And Dennis gets hit in the face.
He does. Not before he started winding up the kids, because he kept stealing their football and. You know, Dennis, I've got him.
Dirty Den, isn't he?
No, he's Princess Dennis. That's his new name to me, because he is the new princess. He is basically Sharon's princess, isn't he? He's mollycoddled, and he can literally get away with anything and doesn't get any repercussions for it.
He's been doing it for years, hasn't he? Like, even when Michelle was back, when she hit him, and then he used that against her for months to get video games and shoes and days off school.
Yeah.
And he still hasn't learned, even since his gang with Jagger.
This is it, isn't it? When Jagger came around, and he basically was doing the same as what Jagger did to him, and it's like Dennis doesn't make sense, Dennis, to be so cruel to someone. But he wanted revenge because he got hit in the face, and Bailey took the blame for it.
Yeah, but why did he get revenge on the Taylors? Does he not know who hit him in the face then?
Well, no, I guess
not.
Think
Bailey did do it? Because it turns out that it was Ollie that hit him.
Yeah, the 4-year-old child.
4-year-old child. So I don't really know why he took it out on the Taylors, unless he didn't know who hit him, or he was too embarrassed to say it was Ollie, but he's embarrassed enough to say it was Bailey. His friends, maybe.
Because even though Bailey's a girl, so a girl hit him. And
she's a magician.
She is. Oh, she hasn't had any magic for ages.
That would have been good.
You could imagine if she kicked Dennis and then disappeared in a puff of smoke. You can't find me. Yeah, so I suppose it's less of embarrassment to say that, but maybe he fell on the ground and, you know, when he fall, Ollie might have just kicked him in. You can imagine. Just for a bit of punishment, you know, like you do.
Carter kids, can't trust them.
I know. Ollie must have had quite a powerful kick as
No,
well.
it's quite a bruise on him.
Yeah, quite a
on him.
shiner on Dennis.
So see, Dennis takes revenge on Karen's 2 kids by throwing water balloons at them and also recording it and putting it on social media.
Yes.
Linda's watching this, so that the Linda and Mick storyline comes into it because they obviously find out that their son is the one that punched Dennis, and Linda's just getting a bit worried about things that Ollie's doing.
Yeah,
There's been a few mentions like the past few weeks about Ollie's like behaviour, hasn't there? I don't know if you picked up on that.
I have. There's been little hints here and there, and so Linda's getting a bit worried that, and this might stem back to, remember when he fell out of his high chair?
Yes, because Nancy wasn't looking off. No, was Nancy having a fit and then he fell out of his chair?
No,
She
they were
blamed
having a
herself.
fight. No, Nancy was having a fight with Lee. And
Right,
the fight escalated to the point that the high chair got knocked down.
Oh yeah, because she like blamed herself.
Yeah.
She mentioned a few weeks ago to Sharon that Ollie likes having his toys like all in a line and doesn't like playing with them. And then when he took Mitch went to cut his hair, didn't he?
Well, that's right.
And Mick said something then about his behaviour, like he doesn't like loud noises or something like that, wasn't it? So there's obviously
it's linked together,
something
isn't it?
is happening,
Yeah.
and they're teaming up, Linda and Karen, to have like a bit of a friendship.
Yeah, a nice friendship as well. I mean, Sharon's not much of a friend, is she? She's only a friend when she wants something.
Yeah, and there's a bottle of wine going.
Well, exactly. We've said this before in the past. That the Sharon basically only speaks to Linda when it's an advantage to Sharon.
Same as her and Mel as well. Like she only speaks to Mel kindly when she has to.
Yeah, when she has to.
Or Michelle.
There was
she got a free holiday.
That's what I was about to say. When they had that story when Michelle came back, and like there was the fight between Linda and Michelle of who was the better friend for Sharon, and Sharon just kind of stood there rubbing her hands together, saying, "I'm the winner of this in either way." So yeah, Sharon's not a great friend. So Linda needed, and also I think Linda and Karen are more on each other's level. Sharon is a bit pompous, isn't she? She kind of walks around
Linda's
the square.
a bit. She likes to think of herself as a posh bird, but she's not.
She's
really.
not. Yeah,
She's
she goes down
London.
to the nitty gritty if she wants to.
But I'm assuming they're doing that because obviously Karen has experience with her 2 kids who have special needs.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing Ollie's going to get some sort of diagnosis where Karen may be able to help Linda. I'm assuming.
Poor old Chapman and Riley. They
had one line. Yeah.
They did, but they also had quite a hard time because they had water balloons thrown at
I
them,
know.
and Karen was very upset, and she blamed herself again because she felt like that she had not purposely but segregated them from the kind of by not going to a normal school, going to a specialised school.
Words.
Yeah.
And Chantel also said Gray's really good at getting information. He can help.
Yeah, prize them out by pulling their teeth out.
Yeah. 1-to-1 interview upstairs. Didn't see it.
Well, he played video games with them. He played a few car games. No mention, but I reckon it was a Switch. I reckon a bit of Mario Kart was being played. Got to play Deluxe. It's a great game.
And that's when they found out that it was Dennis who did the water balloon. So Karen went over. She likes just barging into the Mitchell's house. She got past the kitchen this time, though.
Yes.
Into the living room, where she was just having a go at
Made a
everyone.
snide comment to Sharon, didn't she? Woman of your age shouldn't be buying boots like that.
Yeah.
Hit home though, didn't it?
I know,
Sharon...
like she was boxing them up later. Like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry for Sharon because those boots were lovely. It suited her legs. We talk about her legs all the time.
No.
Nice long boots.
Keanu would have liked them.
Yeah, where was Keanu? He was very quiet.
Oh, busy doing mechanics.
Well, or as Phil says, canoe.
And why could he not pronounce his name yet?
I know.
Nor can
really
Dr.
odd.
Leg or Dot. Remember that from the
they
hospital
called
scene.
Kyle.
Kenyu or something,
Kenyu, yeah, Kenyu, yeah, because we said it was a Street Fighter character.
And Ian can't pronounce Masood either. But he's gone now, so it doesn't matter anymore. But it annoys me when certain characters can't pronounce characters' names.
I suppose it makes it a bit more realistic.
I guess, but it's annoying.
Well, we couldn't say... I still can't say it now. Dinah.
Oh, true, yeah. I'm to
Dina.
blame. I'm just
Dinah.
bad. Dina.
Is
Dinah.
it Dina?
No, Dina.
I don't know which one it is.
But she's gone too, so it's fine.
Good, yes. Let's just forget it.
So yes, and this is when the revelations came out about Dennis, because he was like, no, I didn't do it. And he's like smiling at himself.
Well, he's
Sharon
chuckling to
noticed
himself,
this.
isn't he? Yeah.
She knows that smarmy look from her dad and her brother / ex.
Lover.
Dennis. Denny.
Denny.
He's Denny, isn't he?
Princess
but
Denny.
not anymore, because he doesn't want to be called Denny. My name's Dennis.
Oh, yes, because he slapped his mum. Oh, yeah, because he is
Yes,
mum.
'cause she admitted it.
She admitted it to Phil
she kept
later.
It all secret, but he barged Louise out the way.
Knocked
and her tummy went into the
door.
door.
Yeah, so now Louise is panicking. There was a nice little line also when Sharon said, "Oh, Louise hasn't been eating. She's obviously worried about Bex, but doesn't want to say anything." But obviously that was a link to say that she's feeling a bit morning sickness, and so she's not had such an appetite. That was a nice little link. So I didn't think the revelation that Louise was pregnant or still pregnant was going to come out quite so quickly. I thought they were going to string that out for a couple more
There's
weeks.
So much going on. He's got to pop them out.
Well, and a baby.
Because not only was it a reveal to Sharon that she was still pregnant.
Yes, because Sharon took her to the clinic.
Yes. At the same time, it was a double reveal because Phil was lurking around the corner listening.
Yeah, I know. So much listening behind doors. Yeah. Who's in it?
Grandpa Phil finally.
Well,
here.
Grandpa Phil and perhaps Daddy Phil, because we know there's a.
Oh. I wonder where you were going there.
No,
what?
not
Louise?
that.
No, Sharon. Yes,
Sharon.
there's a rumour. I don't know if it's really... Is it confirmed that she will be
Not
pregnant?
confirmed, it's just a rumour.
No, I
Yeah.
don't know.
And
it makes sense.
It does
you do
make
know
sense.
about 9 months' time from here, we're looking at the 35th anniversary episode.
We certainly are.
So are we going to have a... Please, I just come into my head. Please, can it be a live episode of Sharon giving birth live on TV?
What, and Keanu doesn't know which room to go into? Whether to go into maternity ward 1 where Louise is, or maternity ward 2 where Sharon is.
Can you imagine Letitia Dean doing live giving birth? Because you're not seeing Sharon give birth on screen yet.
You'll
she
have
was off
full
screen
makeup.
with Dennis.
Full
Full hair and makeup around her in rollers. Full makeup.
Yeah.
High heels on.
You'll see her
Still.
legs in the air. You'll get to see her legs.
With her red boots.
Her red boots coming out from a cloth.
Can I have a C-section, please? I don't want to push. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of times this could be revealed because we've got Sharon's 50th coming up, which will be similar to the Phil and Grant reveal because that was at Sharon's birthday.
Right.
So it could be then. We've got the 35th anniversary, which is February, which was when, if she is pregnant, that's when she'll be due.
As will Louise.
Yeah, so that could come out then, maybe. So there's like a few opportunities for these things to happen. And there's also Christmas Day. Like, it could be the Christmas storyline.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think you're right.
So
I think
which bits are going to come out when?
No, I think...
And from who?
I mean, the EastEnders have the advantage also that Christmas would be a perfect opportunity to set up, basically get everything set up ready for the big...
February.
Yeah, for February.
It's like some things might come out maybe at her birthday and then something else comes out at Christmas and then everything pops out in February.
Babies and all.
So yeah, very heavy Mitchell. The only thing that worries me of this storyline is that when it all does come out, do you think it's kind of leading to a Letitia Dean break?
She does like her
4-year
breaks, yeah. And we're getting to that point, aren't we? It must have been about 8 years.
Yeah, because at the end of this storyline, it's going to be a bit hard for her to just settle back down.
Exhausting as well if she's giving birth live.
So yeah, I hope it's not because I don't want the square without Sharon.
I mean, absolutely. Sharon has just come. I mean, she's been reborn. Honestly, she has. This past year, this new Sharon has been. Just.
But I don't
worth
want a Letitia
watching.
Dean break though. But I'm just thinking this big storyline, big year of Mitchells. It's gonna. I hope it doesn't though.
Another thing is that obviously a lot of the Mitchells, inverted commas, tend to do Christmas pantomime. So it'd be very difficult for them to maybe do a big Mitchell story over Christmas unless they can convince them in the contract to not.
Have to say no, Phil. You don't get that extra pay.
Yeah, but it's probably in his contract that he's allowed to go out for a month. So I reckon a birthday thing. You know, you were saying at the top of the show that Shianu, big explosion of Shianu is coming.
There's so many things.
It's very
They still need to mix
unstable.
Ben into it. Yeah, I think somehow. I'm guessing Ben may find out that Sharon and Keanu have had an affair. Maybe Ben will find out, and then
Ben seems to be the one who finds these things out, doesn't he?
Very sneaky gay.
He's a sneaky gay. Gets it from his father,
Oh yeah,
hiding behind doors and seeing
gets it from his grandmother Peggy.
Yeah, it all
Who he
goes
gets
down
it
the
from.
line, you see.
So yeah, I'm assuming Ben needs to be mixed into this as well.
I'm sure it will be. And like I say, when Kate Oates and obviously John Sen came into the soap, they were very much emphasising the Mitchells. So it has to be. It has to be a big Mitchell story. If not at Christmas, then the birthday episode, the 35th.
Yeah, because it's the big one as well, 35. They do it every 5 years. They do a big one. So Sharon giving birth live on TV, please, Letitia Dean. It writes itself.
You've heard it here first, in her kinky boots.
Right, so next up we have the final storyline, and again, one of the best storylines in recent history.
I mean, Kathy has a storyline.
She does. She's got She's got a storyline, she's got a business, she's got notes, money, all sorts going on.
It's all coming in, isn't it? And she's leaked slowly the information.
She's just slowly getting on with it, isn't she?
She is. Yeah, just quietly.
All this drama
she's not making...
behind the scenes.
Yeah,
she's just getting on with it.
Yeah, if this was Ian, then Ian would be telling everyone about it, being really pompous about it. But no, not Kathy. She does her shift at the cafe, sits at a table at the cafe, gets her little, those boards, those mood boards out. Got her mood board out, predominantly rainbows. Yeah. I think she just sees the gay world as one big rainbow.
Don't we all?
Absolutely.
I mean, bless her. She's kind of admitted to herself that she doesn't really have a clue what she's doing. She's just buying the Albert.
She doesn't have a queer eye.
No. She had a little chat with Ben, saying, I sold your necklace. Don't be mad. I know it was stolen, so I've sold it.
And she could have made more money if he had a receipt. She really emphasised that. She really nailed that home, didn't she? She was like, I got 100 grand, but I could have made double that.
You bitch.
Yeah.
But then that's where she gets the idea of maybe opening a gay bar, because she's the best mum in the world. She's worried that Ben hasn't found a boyfriend.
Yeah.
He's just hooking up with these men in her house at night time. She's happy for them to come and go, but she wants them to settle down. So she's going to open a business so she may be able to find a boy close to home for him.
I know. I mean, what a mum. What a mum.
£200,000, nothing.
Yeah, I'm gonna open a business so my son can find a boyfriend.
Can hook up with someone easier.
Yeah. You know.
I do love that she's bought this, and I wonder if that's like she's gonna do a little mention about Wilmot Brown, like, if he could see me now on the opening day or something.
I hope so, because this is, she said herself, it's almost clearing the grey clouds. It's like the last thing that she just needs to forget and move on from. And it's
got lots of things to learn, because opening a gay bar, there's lots of things to learn apparently that she does not know.
No, but she has a lot of allies. She has Kim, and what Kim doesn't know about gay clubs, you can write on the back of a stamp and lick it.
That was so funny, that scene of Kim.
Because Kim was feeling really down and still a bit moody about Kathy had bought it.
It's starting to annoy me, Kim, actually, because she just is annoying all the time. Like, she's never happy for anyone else, is she? Like, with
she's
Chantel moving into the house, or Denise opening the business, or Kathy buying the Albert. She's like really being really horrible. But I thought this scene of her like really being like her face lit on fire, like lit up when she heard it was going to be a gay bar. And she was quite funny, actually. It was quite a good scene for her.
I mean, she was humbled, wasn't she? And so she realised, but it was something that she was interested in, so she was able to relate. Although Denise hit her back down to the ground, didn't she, when she said, like, are you getting paid for talking to Kathy? No, you're getting paid to be here. But, when Kim came back in, she had this new zhuzh, didn't she? She wanted to help the woman and have her nails painted, and she apologised for being late. And it was, it was nice to see Kim back on her feet. The old Kim that we love, the spicy, exciting Kim.
And she has all her gay contacts in Scotland.
Yeah, apparently I've been to Edinburgh, and admittedly I didn't remember seeing such a big gay scene, but do correct me if I'm wrong. But
you're like Kathy. I don't know.
I'm blinkered through it all. But a few people said on Twitter there's not really much of a scene in Edinburgh.
You haven't got the right contacts, like Kim.
Well, absolutely.
Kim spent a few months there recently, remember, with 2 babies. She still went gay clubbing. With Pearl.
Oh yeah, I bet Pearl was a hit at the gay club. Disco Queen.
I mean, how did you enjoy Kathy's gay lesson? That was fun.
I did. I thought it was funny. I thought it was
she learned
really
about
good.
the gays and about the lesbians.
Yeah, the gays. There's otters, bears, all kinds of gays. I can't even think of them. And then
tribes. Lots of different
tribes. You're
which
right.
one's Ben? Which one's Callum?
And then there's lipstick lesbians. Callum.
Twink.
He's a bit twinky, isn't he?
He is. Bit doesn't quite know the ins and outs of it yet.
Yeah. What's Ben though?
Cub.
Oh really?
Because Phil's a bear. His dad.
I mean, Ben's. He's a bit not.
He's like an otter cub.
He's not an otter because he's not trim.
No, that's true.
So yeah, I'd agree with you on that. Cub. So does a twink go with a cub?
Yeah, why not?
I thought
they
tribes
can go.
Because we did discuss also who would be the top and the bottom of Callum and
this is a family
relationship.
Show. So
Sorry,
you're not allowed to say those words.
Sorry. But let's talk about lesbians. So there's lipstick lesbians.
But I don't know about them.
There's lipstick
I'm like
lesbians.
Kathy. Yes.
There's spice rack lesbians or something.
Photographer gay.
Photographer gay. Kathy thought there's no such thing as a photographer gay.
Because of the dark room.
Yeah. I loved that line. It was so funny.
It was. But lovely Tina, she's being offered a job because she's
manager.
been a bit flat, hasn't she, the past few years? Not really done literally nothing. But yeah, manager of the Prince Albert, which again, risque name.
I like it.
Had to be explained to Kathy again.
Again, something we predicted.
I know.
We had a hot week this week.
Very good.
Twice.
We said that quite like ages and ages ago. Prince Albert. Didn't think they'd actually call it that. But...
No, well, I said, that's a bit naughty. And no, they did it. Kathy didn't know what a Prince Albert was either, so she had to have it whispered in her ear. And Kathy's face, she was like, oh, very Kenneth Williams, wasn't she?
I mean, I just keep thinking, could you imagine what Pete Beale would be saying right now? Kathy running a gay bar.
Kathy...
What are you doing in there?
What are you doing in there, Kathy? Ah, you're all right, yeah, you can run it, it's fine. As long as they don't come near me. And then he'll probably be at the bar propping it up.
Yeah, tankard.
Yeah.
Pint.
You'd have a pint of cocktail, like, Russian? Have a pint of Russian? I like Pete. I know we said that Pete has died, and so for him to return would be very...
Just to return
silly.
for this.
I'd love
for
him
1
to
week.
return. Like, just stand outside looking at it, like, what's it? I don't know what it is.
He'd probably see a drag queen in the gay bar and be like, she's fit.
Yeah.
And then someone would be like, Pete, that's...
she's all right. She can have a go. It's all right. Don't matter. So don't come near me.
Oh, Pete. On Classic EastEnders, Pete's drunk at the moment in this spiral of depression.
He's been done for drink driving twice now. It's just
One of the
insane.
funniest lines was when he was at the bar and he went, pipe.
Oh, yeah. And Frank's like, I've told you already, Pete. You're not welcome in here. Pint? He always says his pint. He just has those monosyllabic answers. Yeah.
And then when he was in prison and in jail, he said like one word like 3 times. I can't remember what it was.
And he
now.
laughed at the police. I was like, you think you can pen me on this?
Yeah, bloody.
Try again. You're all right. Don't worry about it.
Kathy's done it. She's gotten rid of Pete.
She has.
She's introduced the gays and she's loving it.
I can't wait for it to open.
I know.
I'm
excited to
really-
see what the interior is going to be like because she had like glitter balls and rainbows and feather boas and
Her mood
glitter.
board.
I was like, oh Christ! But we'll see.
I think
Tina's there now, so she can.
Tina's there to calm Kathy
Although
down.
Tina's clothes are like over the top. So
Oh,
I don't
that's
know what
true.
her
She was-
decorating's going to be like.
Yeah, like Donny mixture necklaces
Yeah,
and
and-
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and like
Dungarees
badges
with
and
rainbow
dungarees,
jumper underneath.
Yeah. So it's going to be a migraine.
Oh God, yeah, Kathy and I'm not so sure about Kathy and Tina now. Well,
Spend the money.
I kind of wish it was still Kathy and Kim though, because I love making the Kath and Kim joke and going, look at me, and doing stuff like that.
Kim might get a job there too, barmaid.
Kim would be great there, but do you think Kim would lower herself? Because she'd see that as a step down,
Yeah,
wouldn't
but it's
she?
the gays, so
That's
step
true.
up.
That is true.
Right, so we move on to Who Won the Week.
We have and your tweets and emails.
Yes.
You know me, I ain't one to gossip.
Yes, it's the end of the show where we do Who Won the Week, the poll that we put at the end of the week after EastEnders has ended. But before we do any of that, we find out who had won previous weeks with Ben with his magic time tunnel.
Not my gaping hole this week.
No, your time
No
hole.
insults.
Your time hole has closed up, and now you're in a spiraling mess. So where did you go?
In the Bill living room. I'm a mess on the floor.
It's like you've had a seizure.
Oh no, that's the other Ben, sorry.
Yeah.
Right, so we had 2 birthdays in the past. One was missed, one wasn't. We had obviously Kim's birthday, which was mentioned on screen, so well done, guys.
Happy birthday.
27th of May, 1976. That's when she was born.
Oh.
The other birthday of any of the characters on EastEnders, there's only 2. It was the 27th of May, the same day as Kim's, 1986. So this was actually on screen.
Oh, hang on.
Can we work it out? Tick, 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 tick. It was Vicky Fowler.
Of course it was.
Dirty Dens and Michelle's love child.
Yes.
So this links in to my episode of this time last year, 2004. Vicky's here. She's lost her American accent.
Oh, I remember. She had an American accent and then just one day decided to drop it.
Well, do you know, actually,
Right, go on.
being mean to the production team,
No.
they were meant to slowly fade the accent out because that's what happens when you move from one country to another.
Of course.
They tried to do it, but because of the continuity of inside shots, outside shots, and things being filmed out of sync, they couldn't work out when she had the accent, when she didn't.
Oh dear.
So that's why they decided in the end to just completely get rid of it.
Just one
like
day,
that. Yeah.
lose it.
Mm.
I mean, it's such a shame
She
because
wanted to fit in.
they must have known that if the actress was staying, that they would
I
have
know.
to, lose it. It was just,
It was silly.
it was silly. I mean, it would have made better sense if she maybe gone away for a month and then come back, and it would have made a bit more sense because then she would have been like, oh yeah, all right there, apples and pears.
So yeah, 28th of May 2004. So Vicky's here, Dennis Rickman is here, Sharon's here, Dirty Den's back from the dead,
Oh my god, this is classic.
and Chrissy's here.
Oh, I love Chrissy. Bring back Chrissy. She
so
should
good.
be out by now.
Yeah, she should this
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Chrissy is blow drying Vicky's hair for her birthday.
Oh, well, what kind thing for
I did
Chrissy to
question
do?
it because Vicky's like got like really short hair. There's not much she can really do.
Well,
And it looked the same after she did it.
It's probably to distract her from Dirty Den's dirty deeds, isn't it?
He is. He's being very peculiar. He's going off to get his suit dry cleaned, but like miles away for like no reason whatsoever.
Oh, I see.
So Chrissy's a bit like, something's happening here.
Yeah.
We've also got Zoe, who doesn't know what to wear.
Zoe!
Yeah, Zoe Slater.
The $1 million, the bionic woman.
She doesn't know what to wear because she wants to impress Dennis.
Mm.
Who wouldn't want to impress Dennis?
I would.
Anyway, she's trying to impress Dennis Rickman, and also at the same time, Sharon,
Yeah.
Queen Sharon. She hasn't got her fake eyelashes on, by the way, yet.
Ooh.
And she's got quite shortish hair, so she's not quite up to Mariah Carey.
Oh yes,
standards.
because when I was listening to could overhear you listening to the episode, I said her voice hasn't quite cracked yet.
No,
She hasn't got that kind of
not quite
smoky, the voice she has now. That.
yeah, she's trying to pretend that she doesn't mind Dennis seeing other women.
Oh, I bet she
She
does.
says, "I'm your sister, not your mother."
I mean, that would make sense that if we didn't know in about a year's time that
Yeah,
may
no.
not be the case.
I think there'd been a thing between them, and they've decided to call it off.
Okay.
But she's pretending she doesn't care, but she does care. At the end, the party, also might say, 18th birthday for Vicky in Angie's Den is awful. It's like the most boring. Like people like slow dancing or doing the waltz or stuff. It's really rubbish.
Was Spencer invited?
Spencer Moon's there with his
That's
girlfriend.
right. He sucked the energy out of the room.
Sonia is having a really good time because she's loud out of the house.
Again, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. This is Sonia.
And I think her and Martin are having problems because she's like, "We are having fun, aren't we, Martin?" He was like, "Yeah."
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't think Martin was having fun. There's a really good scene where Pauline comes over to wish Vicky, her granddaughter, a happy birthday. And Den's on the sofa. She just looks at him. So she's still holding that grudge from
my goodness,
all
of
those
course.
years ago.
Yeah.
And she says, "I've got a parcel here. It's from Michelle. She's going to phone you at 12 o'clock midday."
What, English time or Pacific
Yes, 'cause
time?
Michelle will be having her dinner then. So she'll phone. That's what she said.
Yeah, but she lives in America at this point.
I think so, yeah.
Well, what is it, 12 o'clock Greenwich Mean
Pauline
Time?
said she'll be having her tea.
Well,
Whatever
I'm
having her
questioning
tea
the time
means.
zone situation here.
We don't know when Michelle eats tea or drinks tea.
I doubt she eats it in the morning.
She might. No, maybe she said
12
her dinner
midnight.
time and it would be... Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but they say dinner time also on EastEnders, and they mean lunchtime.
Yeah. Pauline's old, isn't she?
That's true. That's true.
Old-fashioned.
Yeah.
So yeah, really rubbish party. Ends up, Sharon goes back home because she's got a migraine.
No, Sharon.
She
So Sharon.
She goes back to the flat because she thinks Dennis is there.
Oh.
But someone pops out her head out of the fridge and Zoe's there. Her hair...
Pop out of the fridge? Well, she's
she was
in
like,
the fridge.
She was like leaning...
I couldn't find the yogurt, so I went in to get to the back.
She was leaning into the fridge
Oh,
or
okay.
into a cupboard because she had wine glasses and champagne. She turned around and she was wearing his shirt.
Oh dear.
But it was so funny the way it was placed. Like 3 buttons were undone, and a bit of her bra and boobs were out. And she was like poking them like into Sharon, basically, like to make it obvious to everyone watching that what has just happened.
Don't try to outboob Sharon. Sharon would floor you.
So yeah, Sharon's very upset.
Yeah.
And the other storyline running across this was Ian Beale has just had the paternity results of Bobby.
Oh.
And he goes over to Gary, asks him to babysit, and then says, "By the way, I'm the father."
Oh, good.
So yeah,
Phew.
It's a good year, 2004. Lots of
The early
amazing
2000s was really great because
storylines.
that's when the Slaters were introduced, and yeah, really good EastEnders in
Very
the early
good.
2000s.
Kat and Alfie also. Kat wants to have sex with Alfie, but he's not interested and turns over and just says, "Good night, I love you." And she just looks shocked in the bed.
But you
I don't
don't
know
turn
what's
down
going
Kat. Never turn down that.
So, as usual, Kat and Alfie are on the up and down.
You know that episode of Miranda, the comedy Miranda? And you know, she says that sometimes when she turns over in the bed, her boobs slap together. So they make a slap sound when she turns over. Do you think that happens to Kat?
Yeah.
Because they are big.
Well, I don't know. I think it's more of her weird bras that she wears recently.
And they do push them up, don't they?
Like literally up into like her chin.
Oh, into her face.
Yeah.
She's just got 2 eyes
Literally.
looking over her breasts.
But yeah, maybe.
If anyone knows.
Definitely happens to Big Mo.
Oh, yes, because it was mentioned, wasn't it? Her
I
boob
think
slap.
so.
I knew that didn't come from nowhere. I knew I heard it before from someone. Oh, it must be Big Mo then. She farts in. Oh, she's dirty old Big Mo, isn't she?
Dirty old big boot.
Dirty.
So there you go. That was Vicky's 18th birthday.
Well,
So
thank you very
happy
much.
birthday, Vicky Fowler.
Yes. May you return, because I wouldn't mind a bit of fowlage.
Yeah. Sharon could do with the support.
She really could. With Michelle as well. Think about Michelle.
If Letitia Dean does leave at the end of the storyline, that's what Kate Oates and John Sen need to do there. They've got Sean, they've got Bianca. Can they get Susan Tully? 1 appearance. just to be like, Sharon, come on, and then that's Sharon's like leaving thing.
Have
That'd
we
be
talked
cool.
about Bianca's return? I think we did last week, didn't we?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be Callum, Whitney, wedding.
Well, it's Whitney's wedding, isn't it? Yeah, I know.
You're a gay man now.
That's a Catherine Tate reference to anyone who doesn't know. So who won the week? So every week we ask you on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook of which stories that happened on the square this week who you believe
Not Britain's
was the
Got Talent.
best one. We haven't watched any of that, so I don't even know what's going on.
EastEnders is way better.
I have to say, I'd like to know how it's done.
Who hasn't won the week? I mean, that's more difficult.
With the results, they're so close. Seriously close that it's just
get me all hot and bothered.
I know. Well, let me tell you the 4 stories we dished out. There was Queen, Kath and Kim, which later became obviously the gay club story. There's Taylor's versus Mitchell's, which is the picnic story. Bex's hide and seek, which is obviously the
everyone's story, apart from Bex.
The whole cast. And Callum outed, which is the Callum, Whitney and Ben story.
Oh yeah.
So out of those 4, who do you think came second?
Picnic story. The Mitchells and Taylors.
It did, yeah, 28% of the vote. Third place was Bex's hide and seek. So out of Queen, Kath and Kim and Callum outed, the 2 LGBT
first and last
Q stories. Who came first and who came last?
Well, I'm hoping. I don't hope. I wanted Kathy to be higher, but Kathy last and Ben and Callum first because that.
Yep, absolutely right. Callum outed, got 29%. So it was so close. 29%. Taylor's and Mitchell's 28%. Bex's hide and seek 22%, and then Queen, Kath and Kim 21%. Oh, so all
good.
The rainbow flags are flying.
I mean, social media did go a little bit crazy when that happened with Callum and Ben.
I went crazy.
Ben went crazy. Everyone went crazy. There was mess up against the wall, but social media really was like firing off.
It was electric.
No one knew what was happening. So.
But that's the point, and this is the whole thing about EastEnders. No one knew it was happening.
About it.
We all knew that there was going to be a story where Ben and Callum had a fight about a stolen vehicle, but we weren't told any more than that. And this is how soaps need to publicise themselves. It's perfect. You're told just about enough to suck you in, and then you'll get. No,
Callum's told just enough to suck him in,
and
he's anyone.
And then they give you the knockout blow on a Friday as well. Perfect.
Ben gave Callum a knockout blow.
Oh, for God's sake!
And it was perfect.
Now you guys know why Ben was chuckling to himself. He's coming out with all these puns at the beginning of the show, and he's been having a great time.
You're the one that said something that may just ruined everything.
A few comments from everyone. Again, thank you for getting in touch with us on Twitter at EastEnders Week. At Hufflepuff Lock said this week has been the best in ages. Is that every story has been electric. The soap has been top notch without having to rely on a big bumper story. Completely agree. Really, really top notch story. Melanie Williams on Facebook, which you can find us by looking at EastEnders Weekly Podcast by searching that and then clicking on our group and joining, says I thought something like this would happen. I could tell from Ben's face when he looked at him. I mean, Ben did look like he was
enjoying
himself quite a lot, let's just say. On Instagram, people have got in touch as well. Again, you can get in touch with us on Instagram by looking up at EastEnders Weekly Podcast. At JCKWLLC said, Bex running away was my highlight to Shoreditch High Street. There you go, that's where she went, Shoreditch High Street.
That was your highlight.
That was his highlight. At EastEnders Insta said, one of the best weeks of the year. EastEnders works so well when it's got a proper ensemble cast. Couldn't agree with you more. We had loads of comments on Twitter and our Facebook and our Instagram. We can't read them all out because this show would be twice the length. But thank you.
No one wants that.
And no one wants that. No one wants twice the length. So
apart from Ben.
Stop it. We're not doing this. So thank you so much. But we also got an email this week and a question. And don't forget, you can email us by going to nothing, by just typing into the to box, eastendersweekly@gmail.com. And it's from Alison. It says, hello, Ben and Alex. Not
Hello.
happy that Ben came first, but still.
I'm the host.
I have been listening for several months.
Ben came first over Callum.
For goodness sake. I have been listening for several months and I really enjoy your podcast. I live in the US and my husband and I watch EastEnders, but we don't have any others who do. So it's nice to have you to talk to.
Join the Facebook group. There's lots of people from America on there that chat.
Yes, absolutely. I have a question. Why, oh why, is Jay not living above the funeral home? This flat has been sitting empty and he decides to give it to a new underling and Whitney? This, like so many other aspects of EastEnders, made no sense. Mm-hmm. Or am I missing something? Please enlighten me.
I said the same thing.
Now, I think it's because Pam and Les want a couple to move in. And because Jay obviously isn't with anyone officially, that's why Jay didn't take up
Why would
the
they want
flat.
a couple?
Well, because it's more of a stable income and...
Yeah, but Jay's running their actual business. That's quite stable.
Yeah.
I thought it was stupid because like it's been empty this whole time.
No, it has, yes, absolutely.
It was like what Pamela's just waiting for a storyline to happen for someone to move in, basically.
Well, no, also they might have known that Jay needed someone to help him because he literally has been running that funeral parlour on his own for, months since
Yeah,
Billy
he's
got
alright. He's
caught
doing
out.
better than Billy.
Yeah, but I think it's something to do with that. I think that Les and Pam are quite traditional, and they would be more happy that a couple might look after the flat better, while Jay, being a single man, might trash the place or something. Something along those lines.
Ben might be moving in there soon with Callum.
Ben's lived there before with Paul.
Yeah, Paul used to live there.
Mhm.
So I think that comes up next week, actually.
Ooh.
Something else comes up next week. He sees Paul's old bedroom.
Oh, so he does go to the flat then if he sees Paul's old
I think
bedroom.
they have a housewarming party.
Oh, don't invite... Oh, goodness sake. Not coming out 101 is, Callum, don't invite the man who knows that you are gay, or possibly gay, to a housewarming party where there's lots of alcohol, lots of opportunities to
Lots
tell
of memories
people.
about bed.
Lots of memories about the bed.
Can't wait for that episode.
Oh, I know. I'm saying all these things, but inside I'm like, yes, I can't wait to see it. I mean, next week is going to be really exciting. I'm so excited. And don't forget to listen to next week's podcast because we release this every Sunday on your favourite podcast app, on iTunes, and also on YouTube. And you can also find every Tuesday a spoiler cast that Ben presents.
Yes.
And it just gives you a bit of juicy information of the week ahead or a few
If
weeks
you
ahead.
listened to it 2 weeks ago, you may have seen a Callum and Ben little hint in there as well from me.
That's right. And you can only find that exclusively on YouTube, just so anyone who's subscribed to our podcast doesn't get a spoiler unnecessarily.
Exactly.
So you can only listen to or watch it on our YouTube channel. Don't forget you can find us on YouTube, as I say, by just looking at EastEnders Weekly Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at EastEnders Week. You can find us on Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast. You can find us on Facebook. Find our group by searching EastEnders Weekly Podcast and ask to join. You can email us eastendersweekly@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe on your podcast app. And if you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star review and a comment because it really helps us out.
Yes, that's great. So I think we both need to go clear up and we'll see you all next week.
I think you need a hose down.